Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and a new video. So today I'm going to talk about this intriguing concept of creative hopelessness. And it's a term that comes from ACT, acceptance and commitment therapy. And it's about helping us to invite a new perspective on our emotional pain and challenges. And it's really interesting and really important. So let's dive in and take a look. First of all, I'd like you to imagine a scenario where you have social anxiety. And I'm assuming probably you might have experienced this before if you're like me and like just about every other single person on the planet. That you find there are times where you're in a social situation and you start to worry a little bit that maybe you're not performing adequately or people are judging you and it's going wrong and your heart starts to race and your hands start to get sweaty and you start to freak out a little bit. It's not a particularly pleasant feeling. And it's very easy to have a scenario where that kind of grows a bit and you start to end up hating that feeling. And if you've ever experienced that, then you probably find yourself thinking about ways to manage your anxiety and control it, understandably. So, perhaps in this scenario, you develop a couple of strategies like avoiding social situations as much as you can. You get invited to stuff, you make excuses. People say come out and join us, and you have kind of like a bout of sickness and you can't make it. Or in those instances where you just really can't say no and find yourself there, you do that thing where you really hide away and protect yourself. You don't say anything, you literally hide away in the corner. Or if you do have to say things, it's very bland and dull in a way to protect and make sure you don't get judged. And it's probably fair to say that these kind of strategies, they do actually, of course, work in that they can really help with keeping your anxiety in check and controlling it. And it's because of this that it's easy to get into that place where you end up using those strategies excessively to the point where you just can't let go of them. They work so well. And even so that it eventually causes harm in your life, like you start missing out on life and the important things. So in traditional problem solving, typically what we do is that we focus on a problem like anxiety and we get rid of it. We eliminate it. Just easy as that. Anxiety shows up. I don't like it. I do things to get rid of it. Now, that makes sense and it works in a lot of scenarios, but often with things like anxiety, a normal and human emotional experience, it doesn't work quite so well. So that's when something like creative hopelessness as an approach, as a notion, can help us take a really different approach to this type of experience, and it encourages us to make room for challenging experiences like anxiety. So instead of struggling and fighting with anxiety, we're invited to develop what we call this different relationship with our thoughts and our emotions, all the stuff that goes on under our skin. Now, at this point, you might be quite reasonably asking yourself, why creative hopelessness? Why is it called that? It's kind of odd. And it kind of is. So the first part of that is the hopelessness bit. And it doesn't mean, of course, giving up and resigning ourselves to eternal life of suffering. It means just simply recognizing that excessive control or struggling against things like anxiety or other parts of our experience might be and often are counterproductive. When we fight with anxiety, it gets bigger. By accepting the presence of things like anxiety in our life, then we can start to let go of control strategies that are counterproductive. And when we do that, we can free up energy and really start to focus on things that truly matter to us. And that's where the creative aspect of creative hopelessness comes in. And it refers to exploring alternative, radically new, creative ways of relating to our difficulties. So by acknowledging and accepting that these difficulties are there, that's when we can tap into our creativity and find these new ways to respond to challenges. So I thought it might be useful to share a couple of metaphors that I think are really good at getting this concept across. And the first is my good old trusty favorite, the Chinese finger trap. And this is a kid's toy, and the metaphor goes a little bit like this. So I put my fingers into the trap and I wiggle them around, and then when it's time to get them out, of course, I just pull my fingers out because that's what makes sense to do. And lo and behold, my fingers feel kind of trapped in there, and I start to think, oh, I'm starting to panic a bit, and I pull my fingers out even harder, and the trap tightens even more, and that's when I really start to freak out. And it's at this point I need to do something different. First of all, I just need to slow down and pause, take a mindful breath, and at this point, then I can think about something different to do. And the solution, of course, is to lean into the trap, do that really counterintuitive thing, and that creates some more wiggle room and spaciousness, and then I can I escape the trap and get out of it. So it's only when that I stop fighting against this that I can do something creative. And this creative hopelessness encourages us to let go of the struggle and then find new perspectives and strategies. Another nice metaphor is the person in the hole metaphor. And it goes like this. Imagine walking through life and you stumble into a deep, dark hole. And as you're in there, worrying about it and flailing around, your hands come upon a shovel. And you think to yourself, great, this is exactly what I need. I need to be able to do something and take some firm action here. So you start digging, of course you do, and you feel good because you're taking action and you're getting somewhere. Except, of course, from our vantage point, we know that's the worst thing to do. You don't want to make the hole deeper and dig yourself further in. But at those points, it can feel like I'm doing something, I'm controlling this. And in this instance, of course, the very first thing you really need to do is to not dig, let go of the shovel, take a moment to pause, and then think about some creative ways to get yourself out of the hole. So, although control strategies might seem really effective in the short term, giving us a sense of taking action, it's in the long term that they limit our growth and perpetuate the cycle of struggle. And creative hopelessness invites us to contrast this short-term effectiveness with the longer-term effectiveness in the way that can limit our life, and the limitations can emerge over time. And that contrast is a really powerful piece. So by embracing creative hopelessness, it allows us to break free of the constraints of our control agenda and discover new possibilities for growth and change. So maybe just remember that it's by embracing hopelessness, the hopelessness of control strategies that don't work, that we can really begin to find truly innovative ways to navigating challenges and, moving towards a more meaningful and fulfilling life. So just to say thank you for joining me today. I hope you found that useful. If you have, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more videos of this kind. And maybe share this video with other people who might find this useful. Thank you.